If you grew up in the States, the ultimate sound of summer is the crack of a baseball bat. But if you grew up in India, England, or Australia, that very same summer sound is a cricket bat striking leather. So let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the shared DNA of these two massive global phenomena. We're going to break down exactly how they diverged and see what they actually tell us about the cultures that absolutely revere them.
Okay, get ready to have your perspective challenged for a second, because the global fan ratio of cricket to baseball is an astounding 5-to-1. I mean, sure, baseball is a cultural giant in the US and it holds serious sway in places like Japan and the Caribbean, but cricket commands a global following that completely dwarfs it. It's a true international juggernaut, largely driven by its massive popularity in South Asia, the UK, and the Southern Hemisphere. Understanding this incredible scale is really the perfect starting point for our journey today.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer today. 1. A tale of two sports. 2. Roots and broken myths. 3. Mechanics of the game. 4. Clashing cultural artifacts. And 5. The modern evolution.
Section 1. A tale of two sports.
We're starting off by looking at these two massive sports, not as rivals, but honestly, as siblings separated at birth. I know, it's easy to look at a diamond-shaped baseball field and a massive circular cricket ground and think, no way, these belong to completely different worlds. But their family tree is entirely shared. Both of these beloved games evolved from a much older, more primitive bat and ball tradition. Think about it, that fundamental human urge to throw a projectile, hit it with a stick, and run like crazy to a safe haven. That is universal. But as these games grew up in vastly different environments, they adapted. They were shaped by local resources, social classes, and landscapes, developing incredibly unique personalities over the centuries.
Moving on to Section 2. Roots and broken myths.
It is time to bust some persistent historical myths that have kind of clouded our understanding of where these sports actually come from. For the longest time, American legend proudly claimed that baseball was invented by U.S. Army General Abner Doubleday in Cooperstown, New York. It's a great patriotic story, but spoiler alert, it's completely false. Research shows baseball wasn't spontaneously invented out of thin air. It actually shares 16th century English origins with cricket. Early variations of these bat and ball games simply crossed the Atlantic with European settlers and then slowly morphed into the baseball we recognize today.
This timeline really puts it into perspective. While both games have old roots, cricket got organized much, much earlier. Back in 1727, early cricket stakeholders, like the Duke of Richmond, were already codifying their rules with formal articles of agreement. Baseball? Well, it took its sweet time. The founding of the National League didn't happen until roughly a century and a half later, in 1876.
All right, Section 3, Mechanics of the Game.
Having uncovered their shared ancestry, let's head onto the field to see where the family resemblance really fades. The fundamental mechanics tell two vastly different stories. Baseball relies on a pitcher aiming for a very precise strike zone. It's structured around innings and outs, and it's designed for relatively quick entertainment and instant gratification. Over in the cricket world, however, bowlers deliver the ball to a batsman defending wickets. And while a baseball game wraps up in a few hours, a traditional test cricket match can literally last for up to 5 days. I mean, that is a completely different mental and physical marathon.
Section 4. Clashing cultural artifacts. Stepping away from the scoreboards for a minute, we need to understand what these sports actually mean to their fans. Because sports are never just games, right? They're mirrors reflecting society. And the academic literature really backs this up. Researchers, like the ones who published in the Gurukul Journal, define both cricket and baseball as powerful cultural artifacts. They argue that these games evolved to perfectly reflect the social trajectories and the core values of their respective nations.
Let's break that down a bit. Cricket is often called the gentleman's game. It deeply embodies a colonial legacy. It was spread around the globe by the British Empire, and today, for many nations like India or the West Indies, it represents this really complex post-colonial identity where they now completely dominate the sport of their former colonizers. Baseball, on the other hand, evolved to become the quintessential symbol of American culture. America's pastime is totally intertwined with the American dream, westward expansion, and the rhythm of American summers. So, you have two sports from the exact same ancestral root carrying two vastly different cultural weights.
But history is in the past. After centuries of tradition, we have to ask ourselves, how are these heritage sports adapting to the fast-paced, high-distraction demands of modern audiences?
Which brings us to Section 5, the modern evolution.
So remember how we said cricket was known for multi-day tactical depth?
Well, modern fans don't always have 5 days to spare. To appeal to fans seeking that instant gratification usually found in baseball or soccer, cricket has aggressively innovated. They introduced T20, a format that wraps up in about 3 hours. Ironically, that is the exact length of a typical baseball game. And they haven't stopped there. They've even introduced T10 formats, which are short, sharp, and highly explosive. Cricket is essentially borrowing the pacing philosophy of baseball to ensure it thrives in a modern, highly commercialized sports market.
So, despite their different uniforms and fields, baseball and cricket really are just two sides of the same historical coin. I want to leave you with this profound thought from our research today. Cricket and baseball symbolize more than just sports. They are cultural artifacts. It really makes you rethink the games we watch every weekend, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this. What does your favorite sport reveal about the values and history of your own culture?